So this is just finishing off those 4/4 notes. I had to do a quick Zoom break and I couldn't finish, and I don't want to do the whole thing over again. So we're just doing parts. So with this one, we decided that the 2 multiplying in front, those are always vertical stretches. So this is a vertical stretch by 2. And then if I am multiplying my x by 2, really it's not times 2, it's divide by 2, it's the inverse. So that means we're going to shrink it by half. So horizontal, x is always horizontal. So horizontal shrink by half. And this pi over 2 is a phase shift. And again, inverse. So instead of plus pi over 4 units, it's going to be minus pi over 4 units. So pi over 4 left. And then I want to go ahead and just write down some notes. My sine graph in general is middle, up, middle, down, middle. Looks like this. Middle, up, middle, down, middle. And let's see, our amplitude will now be 2. Amplitude 2. Period is 2 pi divided by pi, because we're doing that horizontal shrink. So now it's just pi. And our phase shift is going to be negative pi over 4 units. So that means this whole graph is going to start at negative pi over 4, and it's going to end pi units later. Negative pi over 4 plus pi would be 3 pi over 4. So that's where it's going to start. That's where it's going to end. So I'm going to want to use fourths when I'm doing this. But again, I'm going to graph the parent function first before I even graph this one. Just know that I need to label by fourths. So I'm going to draw my y-axis and my x-axis. And we're going to go ahead and label pi over 2. I'm labeling right now for my parent function pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, and 5 pi over 2. I guess really I can do 2 periods from 0 to 2 pi of the other one, but I'm just going to keep labeling it the way I did. On your homework, for most of it, you're not really required to do the parent function graph. I just think when we're first learning this stuff, it's really important. So up, middle, down, middle, up. So the sine function I always remember is the one that starts and stops on the x-axis, so that really helps me. So now I want to go through and add in all these pi over 4s. So let's see, this would be pi over 4. This would be a 3 pi over 4, negative pi over 4. Let's see, this is 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. This one would be 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, 8 pi over 4, 9 pi over 4. So I've labeled a bunch of them. And I know my whole graph is going to be from this negative pi over 4 to 3 pi over 4. That's going to be my whole graph. So if I think about halfway in between those, I would be on the midline as well. I would be right in line, so it'll be middle. So that's going to be right here at positive pi over 4. And then halfway between these two is my up point. So that'll be right at the 0. Halfway between these two with just pi over 2, I'll be at the negative 1. So hopefully we can kind of see that's not connecting very well, that this is shrunk. And I phase shifted it. Oh, but my amplitude, right? The amplitude. I forgot about the amplitude. So let's go ahead and get rid of that piece and get rid of that piece because they're going to be wrong. This is the great thing about the smartboard, right? At home, you're having to erase, but it's way easier here. So we did forget about the amplitude. So amplitude is going to be 2. So I need to mark a 2 and a negative 2. So these middle points are still right, but it's going to go middle, up, middle, and then down will be here. And so now I can also see that, that stretch. And I'm just going to continue my pattern. Wait. This one's going to go right here. It's hard to sometimes see all these points with all the colors. There we go. And I ended at, so now I have 1, 2 periods. I have it ending at 7 pi over 4. I could draw a little bit more if I wanted to. I could draw a lot more if I wanted to, right? Once we get the pattern going, it's pretty easy to just keep going. So that's what we have for our last graph. So hopefully this is making sense how we are transforming these graphs, just because it's the same rules that we've always used. But they are a little bit different. I'm not going to lie. It's more challenging when we apply them to trigonometric functions.